I mean, we're more than a month into this war in Ukraine now, and yes, Turkey is once again hosting talks, although the date on which they're going to meet, the Ukrainians and the Russians, isn't quite clear yet, depending on who you listen to, on which side you listen to. What are the chances of progress? There doesn't seem to be much movement on the face of it on either side. But of course, we know that the situation on the ground is not going Russia's way, or has not gone Russia's way.
Garfield, when it comes to the yen, what are your expectations this week, given that this has really been an FX story that has traded against expectations? Typically, we would have seen a very different direction for the yen in these sorts of circumstances.
I think the key thing to remember here with the yen in the current situation is that so we have a haven motivation in the war in Ukraine, but at the same time, globally, central banks are looking mostly to tighten, whereas the BOJ is sticking to its policy of, they're saying, yes, there are some inflation signs, but it's sort of the wrong sort of inflation. So they're staying easy while everybody else is going tight. So I think that's your explanation as to why in this situation, the yen as a haven just doesn't work, because nobody's willing to go into a zero yield haven when you can instead go to places where you are going to get yields. Amid all this. So I think the yen can readily go back towards 125. I have my doubts it can go too much further than that, at least until we do get some more rate hikes out of the Fed and we get more clarity on exactly how far they go. 125.86 is the Corona era low for the yen, and getting it to that level and beyond would take a lot.
So how far are you expecting Treasury yields to go from here then?
Well, it's very hard to have expectations for how far Treasury yields can go, especially in the short term. It does seem like there's the potential that a top might come in, at least for this week. We might get some rebalancing flows today and tomorrow that would help to bring yields back down. And now that we've got 200 basis points priced in for the rest of the year, that seems like a sort of a short-term maximum as to what's likely to get priced in. So that could bring us some calm in the coming days. Then we throw forward to what do we get from the data? What does the jobs data coming for the US show? And then further on in April, what does CPI show? And if we get upside surprises from those two again, then we can readily get further gains in Treasury yields, especially seeing as you've mentioned, the 10-year yield has sort of broken through this long-term downtrend.
Bloomberg's Garfield Reynolds and Tony Chushka there with the latest. Well, China is locking down the eastern half of Shanghai. It's a city of more than 26 million people for 4 days of mass COVID testing. It'll lock down the western half after that for the same period. Let's bring in Bloomberg Markets, our China Open co-anchor Yvonne Mann. So Yvonne, this is just an incredible logistical effort that they're making. What do we know about these plans?
Right, you mentioned how they're splitting in half potentially to try to minimize the impact it could have on the economy, just given the fact that this is one of the most important cities for China economically, along with Shenzhen, which also faced its lockdown just a few weeks ago. But